Hello, Gems. Welcome back to another episode of the VTuber Voices podcast, where you can learn how to grow your influence as a virtual character, a VTuber, as well as just talking about how to grow your overall business as a creative, or as the new term they like to call it, YouTube entrepreneur. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about marketing with Fofa. We're going to be talking about Unreal Engine versus Unity. Which one should you consider using for your VTuber and on your channel, and why? The next best step you can take if you know the basics of VTubing. What can you do if you already kind of got the bases covered? What does the next step forward look like? And lastly, ways you can diversify your income as a creator. I hope you guys find tremendous value out of this episode. I know I did, talking to Fofa. It's always been lovely. Without further ado, let's hop into it. Alexis in the chat says, how do you manage your marketing? Other person do it for you? Oh, does somebody else do it for you, or do you do it by yourself? Maybe some tips.
I just do it. Like, yeah. I know that's not the answer that you want, but like,
just do it.
The best kind of marketing that you could do, if you're not the marketing brain like me,
yeah,
and you're like, when you're thinking about like marketing techniques, you're like, my brain is becoming smoother by the moment. Just focus on making good content. Something, it's easier to go viral on like things like Twitter or TikTok short form, and that would be like my best form. Like, say, market on short form social media platforms.
I like that advice. Yeah, and for me, as far as like marketing stuff goes, like you could hire somebody, but that's one of those things again where like I would do that later down the line. But do what you can with what you have when you're starting. For me, it's a little bit easier because I'm an artist and I kind of like know what visuals I want to put together. I started with graphic design stuff, so a lot of that now. And I took a digital marketing class actually too, my freshman year of college. But so I would say honestly, hire somebody maybe later, but right now see what you can put together yourself, and maybe even watch some like YouTube videos about how to market for yourself or something like that. And then what Fofa said too, like short form marketing on TikTok or Twitter, finding the platforms that work good for stuff like that.
Oh, and having, I guess, a brand, if that makes sense.
Yeah, branding is so important.
Don't do like those like tri-tone like football sporty like logo kind of things where you have your face and like, or like this lion or something and like this triangle background like with the 3-tone color. Like don't do that. Like just, so I think it depends on your content. So like if you notice, like Syafire and myself, our icons are not like
mascots. Yeah,
it's us. So like if your focus on your content is you are your own marketing, try to be more consistent, I guess, with that. Like when someone looks at your Twitter, it like, and then they go to your Twitch, there's not going to be any kind of disconnect. They're like, it'll look like it belongs together, like
a smooth like thing. It's like its whole own universe of, now I'm in this like person's brand or this person's world across all of them. I like that. And I took and I think that's like how a lot of people became VTubers too, is like if they had a mascot, they're like, oh, like VTubing is gonna work for me because now I can bring this character to life. So if you like that caricature way as well, I'd say take the mascot route. But if you want to do something that's like, depending on what you stream, if you want to stream like be professional gamer or something, you might take a different approach. But then again, you have people like what's her name, the C9 Cloud9 VTuber, you know who I'm talking about? Dang it, I forget her name. Some people might know who I'm talking about in chat. I think her character's like a whale. But yeah, so I guess it depends, but it's a good question overall about marketing stuff. C9 Vienna, thank you. I thought it was Vienna, but I didn't want to butcher it.
All VTuber, like all the big streamers, VTubers are not, like most of them use their face.
Absolutely. All right, so my next question for you, Fofa, is how do you feel about Unreal Engine versus Unity, knowing you just released that video talking about switching over to Unreal, or figuring it out at least in Unreal? Do you think that VTubers should be aiming to work with a specific one for long-term sustainability?
I would say they're both good. You can, to kind of like think about it this way, like The Mandalorian was made using Unreal Engine production, and the Mowgli movie, the live action one made by Disney, was made using virtual production in Unity.
Yeah, that's a good like side by side to look at how similar things could be done in different programs.
So I would say I'm personally planning to switch to Unreal Engine just because it's just, in terms of optimization, it's just easier. The downside to Unreal Engine is there's a huge learning curve.
Yeah.
No one is sharing anything.
Yeah.
On Unreal Engine. No, like it's like it's all hidden behind paywalls or like industry secrets, whereas like Unity is very community driven. So like I would say Unity, what is great about Unity is that it's easy to pick up, easy to learn,
Yeah.
and you can go very far with it. But the downside to Unity is that it's so easy to make a garbled mess that's like becomes so overbearing that like it destroys your computer whenever you like try to use your project. Whereas Unreal Engine, it's like the barrier to entry is like you need to know how to do all that kind of optimization ahead of time before you do anything. By the time you are working in Unreal Engine, it's already optimized. So like you don't have to worry about those kind of things, but like it's just the difference in how they use the engine. I would say the only reason why I would want to switch to Unreal is because I want to integrate more game elements into it that is not an add-on, a third-party add-on, so that everything is more streamlined and it uses less resources. Unity, its strength is actually using third-party resources, but it makes it less streamlined.
And I think that's one really good perspective on it as well. And it depends again. I think like, for example, so lots of people in our community, both VTuber and artists, huge creative side of things. For me, like I think I'm going to be sticking with Unity for a while, but sort of working on Unreal stuff in the background, which I think is kind of like what you ended up going with as well. And for me, one of the reasons I want to switch is because like long-term career-wise, if I want to work at like a game studio, I have that option. Unity is good for game studios too, but if I decide I want to switch into the film industry, Unreal Engine's really good for covering like both film and games. So that's another, like if anybody here is thinking of getting into game dev or on that art side of stuff and you're thinking of getting into film, and if you could start teaching yourself some of that stuff with Unreal now, again, that will give you a lot of advantage, I guess, if you're planning to move into that industry beyond streaming, beyond YouTube, whatever it might be.
I would say like a good, oh wait, I sorry, as you were speaking, I was thinking of a really good example.
Yeah,
so
go for it.
Unity is kind of like a Swiss Army knife, and the more things you add onto it, it becomes one of those ridiculous like really thick Chungus Swiss Army knife, whereas Unreal Engine is like a toolbox. And like it just has a bunch of like pre-made tools made by Unreal Engine itself. Like it's meant to be used in a specific way.
I like that analogy. Great way to put it. Okay, my next question is, so if someone wanted to start pushing themselves with their VTuber or with tech, like say they made their model in Vroid Studio or something, and they have like VC face, they understand the basics of the program, what would you encourage them to learn next if they wanted to start increasing like visuals or their performance?
I guess the first step would be to learn how to modify your own model. So like try importing your model into Blender and play around with that. Learn how to use basically learn how to use the VC face avatar format. So that's what I'm actually using right now. I'm actually not using VRM shaders. So I'm using VC face like right now, and I'm not using like the VRM shaders. I'm not even using spring bones. I'm using dynamic bones and a shader that I bought it's called RealTune. I'm using the RealTune shader.
You can use your own like select your shaders in VC face.
Well,
it's before in Blender.
No, VC face allows for you to add custom scripts and custom shaders, export those bundles into VC face.
Oh, that's so cool. I did not know that. Oh, heck yeah.
So like that would be the next step, I would say.
Yeah. And then once you start getting your hands on the 3D realm and learning a little bit more about that, I think that starts to open a lot of the gateway, because like if you're new to 3D stuff, you use Blender, moving into Unity will be easier because then you understand like how the 3D world kind of works. So yeah. All right. My next question is, how has your lifestyle changed since you became a VTuber?
I quit my job and I've been supporting myself through like by diversifying my income. Like I'm not relying on, I never want to rely on my Twitch income, because like one, you can't, it's like it's a source of income that's so out of your control. And like the second thing is like I don't want to become one of those people that's like, you know, one of those bad bunnies that goes like $5 a month. Wait, hold on. $5. That's like, why?
Yeah.
Why do that? It's like so like I diversify my income. Like Twitch is good, but I never push for it. YouTube, Amazon links, sponsorships, affiliate links, and then like by taking commissions for like things as well. Oh, and Patreon. And if you're not sure what to do with Patreon, just kind of like use it as like intimate way of like, these are the people who want to interact with you or want to support you. So like
Yeah.
try to figure out ways. I'm still figuring it out. Like how can I interact with them? So like I've been using them, like I already have ideas for like YouTube videos. So I've been using them as like, hey, what are you guys interested in seeing? This is what I was thinking of doing. And then like
Yeah.
they can vote on it as an example.
It's like a way to already enforce like the people who are standing by your side, kind of like the people that you can talk to with your content about. I noticed that too as far as my Patreons. They really enjoy being like a little bit more involved with the process because they're really there to support you and your journey. What a lovely episode from Fofa. Such valuable advice, of course. Hey, if you're looking to join a wonderful VTubing community, definitely head over to my YouTube channel, which is Syafire, S-Y-A Fire, and find our Discord. You should find it in our banner. You can click on that link. You can join and hang out with some really cool people and get answers and help to your questions over there. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode, and I'll see you on the next one with Fofa.